Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Bucci, and today I've got another Guild Wars 2 video for you. Today I want to talk a little bit more about leveling in Guild Wars 2 and some tips and tricks and some ideas to help you maximise your enjoyment as well as your XP while leveling. So I had this idea while I was playing my Guardian today. I've just started playing a Sylvari Guardian. You'll be seeing footage of that on the screen now. And I just thought back to when I was leveling as an elementalist, and I thought back to my leveling build video that I did, and I thought it would be a good idea to supplement that with some extra ideas of how to level well in Guild Wars 2 and how to level in a way that will be efficient and enjoyable. So the first thing I'm going to go through is the things you should do. I'm going to go through do's and don'ts, and they're going to kind of overlap a little bit, and I'm going to have a little bit of debate with myself, but you'll kind of probably see where I'm coming from. So the first thing I'm going to say is explore. Guild Wars 2 is one of the only games that I've played, such like an MMO, which really wants you to, and it encourages you to explore the beautiful surroundings that they've made, and they spent so much time and effort on. Explore, explore, explore. Complete skill challenges, renown hearts, dynamic events, world bosses, points of interest. Just walking around will get you XP as well. You get XP, you get meaningful rewards for pretty much everything you do which involves exploring. I'll go into all of those things I've listed in a second. I'll start with renown hearts. So renown hearts are essentially quests in an area that are given by an NPC. As you enter an area, you will see a little heart on the map, on your mini-map and on the main map, which will give you some sort of task that you need to complete for the NPC. Which may involve numerous other little mini tasks within them. So there could be a farm, for example in Queensdale or anywhere, which the farmer needs help killing bandits, also needs help feeding cows. So you can decide whether you want to feed the cows, kill the bandits, mixture of both, or maybe do one of the other ones that I haven't mentioned. Usually, and from my experience, the most progress towards completing a renown heart is by doing the tasks that don't involve killing the enemies. They usually involve things like picking up a shovel and moving cow crap or whatever around and stuff like that, rather than just going around and just mindlessly killing bandits. And I'll go back to that later about killing mobs and why I don't think it's the best way to really level in Guild Wars 2 or any MMO really. So renown hearts give you a nice amount of XP. That means you can, once you finish them, you can go to the guy who gave you the renown heart and you can buy things using karma at the karma vendor. Renown hearts are great because usually they work in tandem with dynamic events, and dynamic events are really the bread and butter of leveling in Guild Wars 2. They are events that happen dynamically. They are, as they say they are, they're not just NPCs that wait there for you to do something. Things are usually happening and you can either jump in and help out or you can leave it, and you will be rewarded depending on how much you're involved. And the system they have for determining how involved you are isn't amazing. Sometimes you get bronze participation when you've done the equivalent of gold participation, and vice versa, but that's a side note. Dynamic events work in tandem with renown hearts, because in an area where you may need to, I don't know, kill bandits and feed cows or move their crap around, there may be a dynamic event in which the farm gets attacked, and during that attack you're going to be killing a lot of bandits or some sort of enemy. When you're killing these enemies, you're going to be getting progress towards your renown heart and towards your dynamic event. So whenever possible, get your renown hearts and dynamic events to work in tandem with one another, get them to supplement one another. That way you'll complete them both and you'll do it much faster, and it's a nice variation. It feels very dynamic, as the name suggests. It feels very organic and very interesting to do, and it makes leveling in Guild Wars 2 quite enjoyable. I'm now going to talk about things like skill challenges, points of interest, and vistas. So skill challenges, I'll start with, are little challenges which involve finding a certain area, finding a certain object, or killing a certain enemy, and these will reward you with skill points. This is something you should probably do on the side to your main leveling, but it's kind of a nice little distraction and they're usually quite enjoyable, and getting skill points while you're playing is quite nice. And before level 80, when you get tons of them constantly, it is nice to get skill points so you can buy new skills. And genuinely they're quite enjoyable. Sometimes they're difficult, sometimes they are a challenge, as the name suggests, but overall they're very enjoyable. Points of interest are also quite good. You get a decent amount of XP for finding a point of interest. Not only are there points of interest, but they're also vistas, which are platforms, some sort of view, a really nice view that you can look at, and these also award XP. These can be a little bit more of a time sink, because sometimes you have to like jump up platforms and work out how to get to a certain area. So unless you know you can quickly get that vista, if you want to level efficiently, it might be best to ignore it. Also, going into a new area that's blurry on the map will give you XP, and this is going towards your explorer achievements, as opposed to your world completion achievements. They're two separate things, so you can do both of those in order to get XP. Gathering is also quite good for getting XP, but I would say do it as a supplement to hearts and events, because you don't really want to be just running around doing gathering routes while you could be, doing events and hearts at the same time. If you stumble across something that you can gather, go ahead and do it, because it gives you money, you can do crafting with it, and it gives you XP, so you might as well do it all together. In addition to this, personal story quests will add a nice boost to your XP bar. They're not something you should completely focus on, but every once in a while doing your personal story will give you a nice big bit of XP, as well as some other nice little bonuses and rewards. The next thing I'm going to say is make sure you're geared up really well, or as well as you can afford. Buying fine items which have their names written in blue, or masterwork items which have their names written in green, every 5 or 10 levels will keep you from dying too much and let you kill enemies quicker. And this is paramount to leveling. If you want to level quickly and enjoyably, you don't want to be dying a lot, you want to be killing things quickly and in a satisfying way. So gearing up every 5 or 10 levels will really make the difference there. Also, in the same vein, try and make space for traits and skills which improve your movement speed and your killing speed. Spells such as Ride the Lightning for the Elementalist and Judge's Intervention for the Guardian, as two examples, allow you to close the gap between enemies and let you kill them faster. If you're in a position to do world bosses, I suggest you do so. There are loads of low level world bosses such as the Fire Elemental and the Shadow Behemoth and the Jungle Worm, and I would just suggest whenever you're around and that's up, go and do it. Same goes for any champion that's in the area, and just have fun killing big bosses with other people. Which brings me on to my conclusion for things you should do while leveling. Try and do events with other people as much as possible. In Guild Wars 2 there's no pressure to group up with people or to take kills from other people like in other games such as World of Warcraft. Everyone can work together without grouping up in Guild Wars 2, so there's no competition. It's encouraged to work with other people, and I really suggest you do so. Things get done so much quicker, you meet new people, it's a lot of fun, and really it's what an MMO is about, and I think a lot of MMOs neglect it, and Guild Wars 2 acknowledges that. I'm now going to move on to the things you shouldn't do while leveling, or at least in my opinion. Grinding mobs without renown hearts or events to complete can really just be a time sink. So try and avoid just standing there killing the same enemies over and over. If there isn't a renown heart or event in your area, you should probably move on, unless you're doing things like points of interest or gathering. The reward for killing mobs isn't that great, so you're usually better off killing enemies while doing events, as well as while doing renown hearts and things like that. One other thing I would say is don't get too worried about XP boost. You may have noticed I'm using an XP boost in this footage. This is only because I had XP boosts to get rid of and I wasn't using them on my level 80. So I thought I'd put them on this character, and while I was killing enemies I would get some extra XP. Like I say, you don't get that great a reward from killing mobs. So XP boosts, while nice, they are a boost. They aren't vital to leveling up, so don't feel pressured to buy them from the gem store. Thankfully, ArenaNet don't try and shove microtransactions down our throats, so they're not constantly telling us to buy little boosts like that. And you get them from doing dailies and from chests and things like that. So don't worry too much about getting XP boosts. But if you have them, use them. If that's something you want to do and you want to get that extra boost, go for it. XP boosts are always there, but don't worry about them too much. They're just an extra. On a side note, I'm going to talk a little bit about leveling in World versus World and whether or not World versus World is worth leveling in. I've heard mixed opinions about leveling in World versus World. Some people will level almost solely in World versus World because they really enjoy it. And if you're in a Zerg and you're taking loads of towers and camps, you're going to be getting quite a lot of XP as well as karma, which is also quite an important currency. However, others won't go near it until level 80. So you really need to make that decision for yourself. While leveling my Elementalist, I would spend a lot of time in World vs World if I was bored of PvE, which was often at lower levels rather than high levels. I would personally recommend leveling occasionally in World vs World, but not entirely, unless you really, really, really love it. I'd say it's best to save it for the later levels when you have better skills and more experience with your profession, and then you get more out of World vs World. This brings me to my conclusion on leveling Guild Wars 2, and it's going to be infuriatingly on the fence for some people. Ultimately, you should level how you want to level. This is a game after all. Guild Wars 2 is a game, and you should do whatever you find enjoyable. If you find grinding mobs and just killing them endlessly enjoyable and that's your idea of entertainment, then go for it. I'm not going to stop you, and I can't stop you, really. Level in a way that you find enjoyable. If you like my tips and they're helpful, then that's fine. If you don't like them and you want to spend all your time in World vs World, that's also fine. You know, if you're enjoying leveling, it doesn't matter how long it takes, because you'll be having fun along the way. And that's really what the game is about. This game isn't so much about, rushing through the levels and hitting the end game, because what you'll find is when you hit the end game, a lot of it involves backtracking what you missed and enjoying everything that ArenaNet have put into the game, rather than getting to the end and doing lots of monotonous 10-man and 25-man raids. So, to reiterate, just do what you find enjoyable, and that's all I can ultimately say on the matter. These tips are just tips, and you can take them or you can ignore them. That's your choice. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share it to your friends or anyone else who might be interested in how to level on Guild Wars 2. If you want to see more videos like this one, please subscribe. I'm going to be doing more videos orientated at beginners, as well as some content for people who are reaching level 80 and want to know what to do at level 80, as well as some discussion videos on the end game in Guild Wars 2 and other things that ArenaNet are planning to do. So thanks a lot, everyone. See you later.